Good morning, Warriors. It is November the 4th, 2025, 11:32, and I call this meeting to order. Everybody please rise for the national anthem, or the pledge of allegiance, rather. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for our morning prayer. Mr. Alvarez.
Uncover, please. Heavenly Father, we humbly beseech Thee, bless this who are assembled. We pray for your guidance in our deliberations, that we may exemplify the principles and the purposes of our tasks. There's much to be done, so we pray your blessings in our silent, watchful guardian. Bless us with the presence and assist us with your counsel. Make this our sacred mission to honor those who selflessly gave without hesitation. Let their sacrifice not have been in vain. We associate ourselves to recognize the worthwhile endeavors to preserve the memory of those who have sacrificed to a life of liberty, freedom, justice for all. We ask for a moment of silence for those victims from the flood, from the wars, from the trials, from the tributes, from those who are in the hospital, those who are not here with us. As we stand in reverence, let us remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. Heavenly Father, bless the good that we have done and forgive that which we have failed to do. In the Lord's name, amen. Recovered.
You may reseat it. Marshal, can we have roll call?
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Bettis. Present. American Legion Post 59.
Present.
Black Widows. Present. Catholic War Veterans, Mr. Segovia called me, he said he's swamped with work, so he's not gonna make it. Disabled American Veterans. LULAC 777.
Present.
Marine Corps League.
Present, sir.
South Texas, Afghanistan and Iraqi veterans, Mr. Lopez, he's not on, sir. He said he was gonna be out of town, working. Texas Military Department Soldier and Family Readiness, Mr. Quijano's also out of town. VA Laredo Outpatient Clinic, Ms. Cavido is working, she wasn't able to make it. Veterans of Foreign Wars. Webb County Service Office.
Present.
You do have a quorum, sir.
Thank you, sir. Chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the October 14th, 2025 meeting. Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
And a second.
Sir.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All against, nay. Motion passes unanimously.
Sir,
Yes.
for the record, Ms. Cigarro is also here.
Ms. Cigarroa, for the record, Ms. Cigarroa is present also. Councilmember Cigarroa. Next item on the agenda, we have public comments. Communications, any public comments, anybody? Nobody, Commissioner. Next item is public comments, or rather communications and announcements. Update by County Commissioner Precinct 4, Honorable Ricardo A. Jaime, on the Veterans Service Center / Museum project. Commissioner?
Good morning. Ricardo Jaime, for the record. Here with me today is Ed Quiroga and Steve Tellerson and Juan Homero Sanchez tasked with the responsibility of moving this project forward. I guess status, after our last presentation, the city and the county, it is an event that is moving forward with the help of the city and the county, and we're positioning ourselves to have this program and project accomplished in a year. The county went ahead and sent over I guess, an amendment to the agreement that existed between the city and the county that was finalized in August. The city did transfer their share of investment of this project within those 30 days. So the county is in possession of the $1 million contribution that the city made for this project. We went ahead and, I guess, on some portions of the property, they went ahead and did the environmental. They identified, I believe, a room or 2 rooms that had lead. The county moved forward to go ahead and remedy this through the company O'Connor, environmental company O'Connor. And so within the next 20 days, we would finish this, and being that we already got the permit with the city, demolition will kick in, and we'll go ahead and move forward. I'll go ahead and pass the mic to Mr. Quiroga so he could go ahead and preview the design that they went ahead and established for this building. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name is Ed Quiroga, Project Administrator with JHS Architects. Like Commissioner mentioned, I'm joined by Juan Romero Sanchez, the project architect, and Steve Tillison, our historical consultant. We do have a presentation that we'd like to put up, if we can get help. This is that it? I'm not reading it. This. What are we feeling?
He's gonna put it on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's.
Okay. You want me to
No,
get-
we'll leave it, but
Okay.
we'll put this.
Yeah, perfect. We want to expand it. Yeah. Is that gonna work? Can we get the whole screen? Yeah. I guess we're not being able to get the whole presentation going. All right. Maybe all right. Well, again, just a brief history of it. Before we start, we'd like to thank, there was a lot of involvement by the Veterans Officer, David Gassa. This project itself is really relocating the Veterans Officer to the historic project on Iturbide and San Bernardo. We're gonna take you through the whole project evolution, some of the hurdles that we had because of its historical significance. But at the same time, there was a lot of research done. There was a complete study on the exterior and the interior of the building. And when we talk about detailed study, we're going back to every single base molding, door, hardware, walls. That's what we're going to talk about and talk to the committee on how this project evolved. We also have the floor plans layouts of how the Veterans Officer will provide services. And there's also an exhibit area in the space that allows to have a livable exhibit area for some of our kids to come in and talk about the history of Laredo's veteran history in Laredo. We start off by Steve. You can go ahead and take him through the presentation.
Very good. Good morning. My name is Stephen Tillotson. I'm an architect based in San Antonio, but I have been involved a lot in Laredo over the years, doing buildings here. TAMIU, NM International. I designed all the first 4 phases of that project there. The public library, a number of other projects with the other firm that I was with at the time. But I'm doing a historic preservation consultation right now. Worked with Ed over the last 15, 20 years, maybe more, I had to say. And this project is very dear to my heart. First of all, it's one of the foundational buildings in Laredo. All of those buildings that started out in the late 1820s, 30s, and 40s. This is one of them. It survived, along with about a dozen others. So it's very fortunate to have this project to work on. And some other reasons too that I can get to a little bit later. But I'm sure you're familiar with the property. They're on San Bernardo and Iturbe and Grant. This is a view from the west, looking just an aerial view. You can see basically the building kind of occupies the center of this kind of L-shaped property. And it was, you can see a little building off to the right over to Iturbe, which was built later in the 1940s and 50s, was a gas station at one point. But the building is generally all compact, but what started in 1840 didn't stop until the 1930s or so. There's over almost 100 years of history of building on the site. And because this building is a recorded Texas Historic Landmark, it does come under the purview of this Texas Historic Commission for review of any possible changes to the exterior. And so that's why we did prepare a historic structure investigation. Initially, because the source of the funding was initially targeted from federal funds, we actually had to look at a more stringent review process called Section 106. And but during that time, the Historic Commission decided that it did not have to comply with the more stringent this criteria, which is basically exterior and interior. But in any case, the building has been sitting here for years. It was not in very good shape, I believe, even in the 1970s or so, and has slowly deteriorated over time. This view from the street, and then the view from Iturbe. This is really kind of the main entrance at one point when there was a restaurant there. And then the rest of the site, you can see the kind of buildings in the front. There where there used to be a car wash or a little gas station, Standard Oil, back in the 1930s or so. And then as you go around to the east side of it, you can see all these additions that occurred. You know, every 10 or 25 years, that something would be added on or changed or altered. And not in very good shape. Roofs leaking, walls really deteriorating, plaster falling off, the porches completely falling apart. So it's a real labor to go into buildings like this. They have lots of problems. They were never designed for a 20th century or for central heating and air. You just had to kind of put up with the dampness and the humidity that's natural with buildings that have masonry that goes directly into the ground and no kind of insulation or vapor barrier. So going back in and repairing these and all of the plaster, all of the stonework is really time consuming, time intensive, and it really soaks up a lot of the budget on a project, as you can imagine. And then again, some more photographs of really the character of the historic fabric in various states of kind of distress and deterioration, and then all of the things that people do just to kind of secure an opening. You can see that is the world's safest window, I guess. Looks like there's a bed spring in there as well. But from this, all of this investigative information, basically I can understand kind of the chronology, and so you'll see in this diagram that the original building, basically about 30 by 40 feet, that's shown in the gold, and then it was added on to the right, to the south, an addition in 1864, another one in purple additions in 1889, and then various additions over the time to add restrooms and a kitchen and porches, things like that. But it's a really interesting detective story of uncovering things. And the original building looked a lot like what you see on the left. Pretty plain stone, sandstone building, like this one that's over in El Azteca. But it actually grew into a building very similar to the Leyendecker Benavides house that's on the plaza, where even the details of the rounded edges, the stuccoed lintels, the kind of a lot of interesting details about that are similar to that building there. And all this goes into a report that come in handy to discuss and go over all of the criteria with the Historic Commission and their review. It's been very helpful in terms of the contractor to go to a lot of detailed information about the building too. Again, more diagrams about the various aspects of the way that we would utilize the building, how we secure it, all of the issues about the doors and windows and masonry, you can see are kind of outlined in these diagrams. I won't get into the detail of it, be happy to answer any questions if anybody has, but as you know, restoration work can be very expensive. Lead paint, asbestos, not having proper insulation, and having to retrofit those spaces with modern systems can be very much of a chore. But I think one of the most interesting things about this project was really the initiative by the county to move the Veterans Office into that building so that it shares space with the Veterans Exhibit area. There's no place like that in the country that has that kind of exhibit, museum quality to it, of memory and meaning, with an actual kind of servicing veterans that are alive. And that kind of living museum, I think, will make this a very special place. And we're trying to do our best to design a place that measures up to the special meaning of that. So when you look at this floor plan, what you see in the gray is actually all of the exhibit areas, including some of the back of house, like restroom and mechanical. And you see in the blue, basically the Veterans Office. There'll be a single point of entry. I don't know if I can point to it. But really the single point of entry for the public is right through this door, whether it be reception area. And then you either go this way, down the gallery, to go into the Veterans Office, or you go this way to continue on with the exhibits that will be programmed in those areas. When you look at the larger site, of course there's some parking that needs to be accounted for, so we're leaving the parking lot that's on the north. In order to meet the parking needs, we actually were able to take advantage of the street curb parking that's in the public right of way to meet that minimum criteria. And then we would be taking down the little car wash and gas station building that's on Iturbe, and really creating, in essence, kind of the idea of reconstituting a parade field. And there would be the the United States flag at the west end at San Bernardo. And then to the east, at the other end there, we would have a flag area for all of the service flags for that. And we haven't gotten to the point yet of designing anything, but some sort of real memory wall that is a place that can be marked the names, the histories of the veterans. And then a nice shaded courtyard. You can see the new patio with brick pavers. There's a little small kind of storage building, that ancillary building, that could fit in with supplying or supporting outdoor activities. And then the porches that look out into it. So that's the basic layout of the site. Elevation-wise, the only thing that we're doing that really truly alters the building is, instead of rebuilding the porch on that east, on the left-hand side, on that bottom elevation, we're actually going to be enclosing that with glass. It'll kind of feel like a porch, but it's going to be a gallery at that point. And then everything else is pretty much restoration quality. We're not adding anything that is not historic to the buildings. We're rebuilding the porch that's on the south, that you see on that south elevation. And then, of course, on San Bernardo, that all of those openings, the doors and windows that are blocked up with concrete block in terrible shape, we'll be opening those back up, restoring those, the cornice, and some of the subtle details of how it was plastered over time from the 1840s on through to the 1890s. We're looking at recreating that. And then this view, really from the southwest, that shows the building up to the left and the parade ground or the yard to the right, and gives you that feeling of how we'd like it to develop into a shady, inviting place. Another view from a different angle. Now, what will be really important in terms of the museum quality exhibit areas is really what the museum consultant has been providing so far. There will be someone that does the actual exhibit design. This is some of the preliminary material that he provided, just some different options kind of for branding. You can see the different kind of styles and designs that they're exploring on that. And then this is programming the different types of exhibit areas, or exhibitions that will be in each and individual room. And this is really kind of a classic museum in that you think about going from room to room to room, like the old kind of traditional museums would have it, the gallery to gallery to gallery. It's not quite the Louvre, but it probably is more safe. The first room that you would enter, it really deals with the locale, the history of the building, of Laredo itself. Those first two rooms you see in the blue, and then the orange. And then you start to get into really kind of the periods of service from the Spanish colonies to the Mexican Revolution to on all of those periods of conflict. But it is not always just about the conflict, it's also about the life of the veterans. It's also how veterans aren't just lone individuals. They have families, they have histories. I myself had a father that was in the Army, so I grew up moving base to base, and so I have some very, very fond memories, a lot of great opportunities to travel, see the world in that kind of life. And he was a Cold Warrior from World War II to Korea to Vietnam, and was able to see the Berlin Wall come down 2 months before he passed away. So it was a victory for him. Very meaningful for me that we're working on this project. And again, some of these just kind of conceptual views. There'll be a lot of data and kind of interactivity kind of conditions in this. There'll be systems to be able to bring up data. There'll be lots of visual technology to articulate and get the information. And you can see just some of the ideas that have been put on the table here, including really the one room that doesn't have an exterior exposure, which would be more immersive space, something that could have just pictures or photographs of displayed so that you could go up and touch those and find out the history and the information on each and every individual that would be in the database. Even to the point of doing some projection on glass, which is really interesting. You just use a very special kind of film so that there could be static displays or kinetic displays. You could even project a movie on them if you had to. This is the porch that we are rebuilding with the glass, that you could actually be out in the patio and observing some sort of dynamic or static show on the glass itself. And then on San Bernardo, it was blocked up for a long time. We don't want it to be like a solid wall, so every one of those openings will either be looking in or showing out with some sort of display or being able to look through the glass into the exhibits inside. So we want to bring some life to the facade and the frontage on San Bernardo. This building used to have awnings on it, just for a little bit of shade and protection. We think we can get some benches out there, maybe a little bit more, just to make it more human. And so,
Oh, I'll make some calls.
Ed, you might want to make some.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit more about the exhibit, just to give you an idea of the. I'd like to put this one up because the whole museum is interactive. It's, you know, like Steve said, there's a whole progression from going from the first phase to the second phase, you know, third room and fourth. But as kids walk in, they're going to get the sense of what was it like living in Laredo at that time period. The table that you see there is immersive. It's a prom. Kids were able to touch it, and you're going to start getting graphics on the table. There's also silhouettes that come up in some of those picture frames that are telling the story. So kids are able to interact. And it's all basic research on that time period, from, you know, the Indian fights, wars, discussions about the Republic, and so forth. So the main point is that it's very interactive, which allows you to be able to change the graphics periodically. These are all interactive panels as well. There's going to be a lot of the idea as the kid walks through, or the young children, they see some of the hard collaterals, you know, uniforms, things that they can touch, but also on the digital, you're able to talk or hear, listen to a veteran from that time period talking about how it was, you know, how, you know, it was difficult to join and go fight for the Republic and so forth. The last one, these are all interactive as well. This is post 1845. This one is probably the biggest one. This is the immersive woman. When we first started talking to the museum consultants on this one, there was discussions about former veteran members that were part of it, and I just saw Mr. Rodriguez, which they used to meet at the old firehouse on Del Mar Boulevard, and they were talking about what the vision of this project was. I remember Maso Sandoval, Mr. Munoz, Mr. Rosell, which, you know, we'd get calls from Mr. Rosell, if not every day, you know, every other day. But the idea of this the exhibit room number 5 is to talk about the human touch of the veterans. And we are going to have letters of when parents would talk to their kids when they're out of war, Vietnam, the Gold Star mothers. So this is not about the atrocities of war. It's more about the human feeling about having your, you know, technology today allows you to communicate. But back in the day, that one letter that you would get was so important. And it's interesting enough because one of my uncles did three tours of Vietnam, and he never talked about it. And I remember Mr. Munoz saying in one of the meetings, let's not talk about the atrocities, let's talk about the valor of going out there and representing where you're from. And there's a lot of stories here in town about some of our veterans. So these letters are more of a human touch that people can go and see and touch and feel of that relationship, how it was to communicate with your son or daughter while they were serving. The next one is, this is the Veterans Immersive Room. This is really in memoriam of the wall that generation after generation you're able to go up to the wall and touch the photograph, and it'll give you a brief history of the person that served and passed away, you know, providing services to their commitment to the military. And that is the exhibit room number 5, which is probably it is the heart of the whole project. You know, the other thing that Steve talked about, the whole livable museum, what greater story than to have the actual person that's on the wall go to this building and get services, and kids can actually interact with that one person. You know, that's the whole deal of connecting the younger kids, the public, and our living veterans. And like Steve said,
Yeah, I would like to add that, and I think it would be meaningful for the veterans that are, you know, going to appointments there for a variety of different services, that they're part of the museum itself. They are a living exhibit of this veterans place. And the other thing is that all of these stories don't come out of thin air. All of these stories take the involvement of the community and the veterans to have people show up and record their stories or bring in their information. So really, in in supporting this museum, it really has to come from the community. It really has to come from people that will take the time to facilitate those discussions that can be recorded and kept as a record for people to access. I'm sorry.
So we'd open it up for questions at this moment.
Yes, I have several questions. First of all, you mentioned that this location is listed in the historical and that you received a exemption not to follow the historical requirements for different material and things like that. Is there a reason for that exception?
First, the project was going to be financed through federal monies from our American Rescues Act monies, the ARPA monies. Moving forward, it came with that responsibility to go ahead and meet federal guidelines. And so I went ahead and put up a motion to go ahead and use general funds instead of ARPA money so we could go ahead and meet state standards. I think it was important for me to move in that direction because we were going to save a good $1.5 million, $2 million within the scope of this practice. So we are getting more bang for our buck within the construction of the building.
And that's the reason that you were exempt from following the historical?
Well, let me add more to it.
Yeah.
So originally, when the county was using federal funding, under federal funding guidelines, you're required not to just you don't meet state historical guidelines, you meet federal guidelines. That guideline is called the 106 review, which is
I'm speaking about the historical guidelines.
Yeah, it's called 106 Interior, Secretary of Interior Guidance, which is a very rigorous submission. So this is our submission to that guideline, the 106. After the county changed our funding source, which is no longer federal monies, we were in touch with the State Historical Commission. The main director was overseeing the 106 review, and he let us know that to comply with this, we only need to meet the Texas Historical Commission standards. And that's what we did. Now, the project itself, the manuals are still produced for the 106. That's why we talked about a rigorous design research on the historical guidelines. However, on the permitting, it only went through the State Historical Commission review.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
What is the square footage for the whole project?
I think there's one of the slides. We've got one slide here, Mr. Vela. It's the historic structure itself is 3,887 square feet. The little portion addition in the back is 604, and the porch itself is 244. So altogether, it's about 4,734 square feet.
And of that, how much square footage is for the VSO office, the Veteran Service Office?
The Veteran Service Office is 1,070 net square feet.
Mr. Gaza, how much square footage are you working with right now?
Less than that.
Okay, so this is adequate to service the veterans, in your opinion?
Yes, it's definitely an upgrade. They did come and we met at the office. They took measurements. Mr. Quiroga did. Met with him in his office. We worked through some stuff, some things that would be better to serve our veterans, and they complied, and pretty much everything on that wish list they got. I can't even think of an item that was not.
No,
there was like, I was like, hey, we really need this. I don't think anything was denied.
And I believe
do
that's the main
appreciate that.
concern of this committee, to be able to service our warriors.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
With that, going in line with that, you were speaking about the parking, that you had to use some off-street parking in order to meet the requirements for the city. And I find that kind of odd that any building, whether it be private or commercial, would use private or public parking to meet the requirements of a building permit. And this is more for you, Councilwoman, because that sets a precedence of new buildings, new construction going on that don't meet the parking. As you know, we have so many buildings in the city that don't meet the requirement of the parking, and therefore the members of the community cannot really utilize that, and they have problems having parking. And that is a concern, especially for for the disabled veterans that are gonna have to go and not be able to find parking. So of that parking that is available, how much of that is dedicated to the veterans?
It's completely, you know,
Well, it
Mr.
cannot be completely, because if you're using public parking, the public can park there.
No, it's gonna be,
And
this,
we have the same problem right now,
Well,
where you're at.
let
We
me-
don't
let
have
me-
parking
let-
to
let
go
me
out there
touch
and
on
be
that.
able to get service.
Mr. Vela, in the central business district, which is your downtown areas, there is no parking requirement. There is a rule that the city has an ordinance that says that if you're building a new structure, a complete new building, you have to comply with the parking mandates.
Exactly.
This building itself has parking, existing parking area on the north side, which, as you can see in the drawing, this whole area, this is actually dedicated for staff.
So there is no parking dedicated to the veterans to be able to go use the VSO.
There is no additional parking other than what you see there that is for
And that's
services.
open to anybody.
Well, it's operations however they want to use it, but we do have,
It's either a yes or a no. I mean, off-street parking can be used by anybody that's gonna be using the services of another building, correct or not correct?
yeah, I guess that, you know, it's.
I think that parking is be used for, that is still within the facility, if I remember correctly.
It's in the site plan.
So it should be
Yes,
only
I
for,
understand what you're saying. I mean, there's public
For
parking that anybody can use. So if I'm going to go over there to use the services of the veteran service officer,
So-
and there is no parking because somebody else parked on that street parking to go to the bank or to go shopping somewhere, is that the case or not?
Well, in one of the meetings that we had, I know that we got it started a conversation with the Assistant City Manager, Jose Valdez, and the idea was to go ahead and have San Bernardo dedicated to the veterans. And that was a request that I made so we could go ahead and have an additional parking space. I think that if we do get that agreement with the city, it's still gonna be an upgrade with the current situation, because right now, the only dedicated spots in front of the veteran service buildings, I believe, are three parking spots.
And they're
A-
always-
And the sidewalk has maybe about three oak trees that prevent people from
Wheelchairs.
handicapped veterans from reaching its stores. So I think this is gonna be an upgrade.
I just, Mr. Ramon, you know, just mentioned that that's parking in the front and around the corner is off-street parking that's going to be dedicated to the building. You know,
To the
that's
whole
the part.
building or to the VSO office?
Well, to the building itself. However, in our programming, Mr. Vela, the way, you know, one of the biggest things was the privacy factor of all the meetings that they have with the veterans. But it is by appointment basis. So
Mr.
we,
Vela, can we have Mr. Chavez speak, say
Yes,
what he wanted
Mr.
to
Chavez, yes, go ahead.
thank you.
I'm just asking a simple question. If a veteran goes out there to use the veteran service office services, is there gonna be dedicated parking to that veteran? It's a simple question, yes or no?
Yes.
How is that gonna happen?
So, good morning, or
morning.
good afternoon yet. Ramon Chavez, Assistant City Manager for the record. So, in a previous meeting, right now, the current facility that you have, there's a parking space dedicated, and I can't remember exactly what it says, but it says veterans parking only.
Yeah.
And so that was a request, and that's what the city is working on for this facility, to have that specific sign for veterans only parking on San Bernardo.
Well, that sign that's out there outside the office might be there, but that's not the case, because I parked there and I was asked to move sometime back.
But the request was to
So-
place.
It's
So,
for the office
anyway, we're
use,
talking
the
about
sign.
this new one here. There is gonna be reserved parking for veterans that are gonna use the services of the veteran service.
Can I try? So that sign that Mr. Chavez is talking about, it literally says, for veteran office use only. Meaning, if you're gonna park there and you're gonna go get your license plates at Patricia Barrera, that's not what that, it's for the office use. So,
And I
so
wanted
that's
to,
how they can kind of go in there.
And that's what I'm asking about this
And-
facility. Is
and-
it
and
gonna
I'm-
have parking dedicated to the
Yeah.
veterans, the warriors that are gonna be using the veteran service office?
so, we are gonna dedicate some, spots within the parking, and given that we're a governmental agency, we are allowed to go ahead and dedicate that. So we are gonna work, with Mr. Garza to go ahead and dedicate some spots for the veterans and their families.
You've got that situation right out here where there's a sign that says no parking except for city service vehicles on the curb.
Yes, and that's
So-
all I'm asking.
Yeah, no,
Is
no.
this
It's
facility
simple.
gonna
So
have
we'll
that?
work on that, Mr. Vera.
Okay,
Thank you. Yes, sir.
What is the final price for this project?
It should be, like 5.5 million,
5 million.
right? 5.5 million. 4.5 coming from the county, 1 million from the city. So it's a city-county project.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you,
Yes, sir.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Anybody else with any questions or comments?
Thank you.
I appreciate everybody's time. Mayor Portemp, Ms. Bettis, thank you for always reaching out to see how we could go ahead and better the service for the veterans. And Councilwoman Cigarroa, thank you for, I think that we had a good 10, 15 meetings just on ironing out the details on Iturbide Street, the traffic, the electrical poles on San Bernardo, the dedicated parking, the future expansion, the permit, the work authorization, right of entry from the neighbor. It has been a lot of hurdles and a lot of meetings, but the concept is to move forward and better provide for the veterans and their families in times of need, promote privacy and honor them with exhibits. Appreciate everybody's service and time. Thank you.
Commissioner, can I also?
Yes, go ahead.
I also wanna also add that, you know, I know that this project was long overdue and appreciate Commissioner Jaime for taking the initiative and taking the lead on this project for the county to actually put in all the resources needed to make this possible for the veterans.
Yeah. I also wanted to say that I got back from the service from active duty in 2008, and I remember hearing about this project in like 2009 or 8, but it had already been going on since maybe 2006 or 4. And I've been working at the Veterans Office since May of 2013, and almost every year or every 2 years you hear like, okay, we're gonna do it. This is the first time we've actually moved forward. So thank you, Commissioner, on behalf of myself as a veteran, my family, and the extended community, because it's been long overdue. It's almost going on 20 years.
It's a county city project, so.
And yes, Councilwoman, thank you, because it is a project long overdue. Mr. Quiroga knows very well. Probably one of the first times I ever met him was way back then. So thank you, gentlemen. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you so much.
Sanchez.
Appreciate your presence. Yes.
I also want to share my thanks, and this has been a labor of love, and it like as was mentioned, it's long overdue, and I want to thank you for your leadership, Commissioner. This is amazing. Thank you.
Definitely.
An epic moment in time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda by Marine Corps League representative requesting an update on the tiny homes to discuss the Halloween safety and the Toys for Tots campaign. Who has this one? Charlotte, you have it? Who has it?
I requested an update on the homeless veterans tiny homes project. Do we have any discussion or information on that,
I think we have management here.
please?
Good afternoon. Ramon Chavez, Assistant City Manager for the record. So as it relates to the tiny homes on Lafayette, that project is going through the final inspection process. We expect that to be accepted by the end of December and be opening in January of 2026.
And how many units is that, sir?
9 units with a community center. 9 units with a community center.
And of those nine units, how many do you perceive to be able to be used by our warriors, our veterans?
So I suggest that we can communicate with our community development office. They have a department there that will be able to assist any veterans that are looking for any housing there.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Any comments or questions? Mr. Alvarez?
I do have a.
Yes, ma'am.
So, when this project began, it was back in 2021. You know, we were all here and we heard the presentation about the tiny homes and how they were going to be donated and how we were going to have a tiny home for veteran community project. And throughout the years, we heard presentations and we heard how veterans would be given priority or preference, quote, preference. I know at one point it was clear to you all that this was not going to be only exclusively for veterans,
Yes.
which we understood,
Right.
but we still expected priority for the veterans, and
Right.
we knew that the community center was going to be there for services. You know, there was requests for MOUs for us to assist with the services and how this project wasn't going to be able to be viable without MOUs and agreements for services, and so unfortunately I found out at the last council meeting, a couple council meetings back, that the project scope had been changed, and it was no longer, veterans could no longer be given a preference, which was unfortunate, and instead half of the homes are going to be for low income and half of them are going to be for homeless, and homeless veterans are still, you know, available for the homeless component part of the project, but it's not what we had talked about over the years. And I understand that there is a project there that is going to service people that need affordable housing, but we have all been talking about a different project over the years, and it's an uncomfortable topic, and I, you know, I think it's something that we do need to, I would like to hear your thoughts on that, because my commitment to working with you all and being a representative is that we deliver what we promised and what we started, right? Let's finish what we had started out. So, if, I'd like to kind of hear your thoughts on that.
Thank you for that, council member. Right off the bat, disappointment comes to my mind, because basically this committee is charged to find ways to increase or improve the quality of life for our veterans. And while we understood that we could not do it by ourselves and we needed help from the public sectors, the city, in this particular case that we just heard about the museum and the VSO office, still we're charged with trying to improve the quality of life of our veterans. And that's not the way this project started, as you said. However, we understood that we needed help and we had to compromise and be able to work with both sides, you know, the public and the veterans, and that's the way we understood this project was going. Of course, we have no say-so except give our opinion, and that's our role here. It's just sad to hear that, because we were not able, in my opinion, to accomplish our mission in this particular project. We appreciate you bringing that to light, because it was never, we always thought that a certain percentage of that was going to go to the veterans. The federal government has policies that if you apply for a federal government, if you're a veteran, you get 5 points on their scale. If you're wounded veterans, have a Purple Heart, you get 10 points, and several, you know, post office, and they have that, and at the very least, the city could have something like that, that would give a little edge to our veterans, to our warriors. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen, seems like. Anybody else that has a comment or comment?
My understanding was, as it morphed throughout the years and finally came through fruition, was that it was still gonna have, it was gonna be both for the community and the veterans, which is fine, as it should be. But, unless I misunderstood, did you say, Councilwoman, that there would be, there's no, like, and I think there's 9 units or something like that, I don't really recall the number. They're not even gonna have 2 or 3, let's say, not even half, I would say 30% of the units dedicated for homeless veterans or a veteran that might need assistance.
So the,
Temporary.
originally there was an MOU with another organization out of San Antonio.
Right.
And that fell through. And so that MOU was terminated and Ms. Rodriguez did come here to explain the situation. And the project still being a really great initiative for the community and for the low-income and homeless community. They were able to send the proposal to the federal government and receive monies to continue with the project. From my understanding, we're not able to because it's federal monies. There's requirements with how the program is developed, and management is here and they can speak more on this. But there will be service for homeless veterans. It's just not
And an equal playing field, I guess, right?
not quite how we had initiated. There's still another phase to this project, and I would love to see the city commit its own funds from the capital improvement project or general fund to where we can dedicate the veterans that section of housing specifically to veterans, because we have that ability to do so. And that's an item I'm happy to bring to council for this next year's budget.
I want to expand on that a little bit. So I requested a timeline, right? And I requested a timeline on the series of events. And I went and I researched all the meetings and I pulled out quotes and I, got clips of what was exactly said and what was exactly communicated. And there was a breakdown in communication. There was ambiguity on, the veteran component and the veteran component. Yes, the veteran component has never been removed. That is true. But we were told preference would be given, and that was removed. And that was removed, and I understand what Councilmember Cigarroa was saying about us putting general fund monies. However, we were never given the opportunity to have that discussion, because had we had that discussion that if we use these federal monies, now preference would no longer be given to veterans. Had we had that conversation, then we could have said, you know what, let's not use those federal monies. Let's use general fund monies, or let's find another funding mechanism, which is one of the jobs of the city council. We never had that opportunity because somebody within the organization took it upon themselves to make that decision for us. And here we are. And that's the issue that I have with this project, and that's the issue that I've had, is that we set a goal and we set something and then there's a breakdown. And I understand that it's still a viable project. That is not the point. The point is that when we knew that funding was not going to be allowing for preference for veterans, we still continued to have presentations telling us the contrary.
Exactly.
And we were told the opposite. That's what I remember. That's what I saw in the timeline. That's what I have video evidence to show. That's the concerning part. And then funds were utilized that didn't allow preference, yet we weren't told that until everything was all said and done. And by that time, you've already spent federal monies. I am at the point where I would actually prefer, since we have this unit with the community center that was supposed to be for services, that we actually find a way to use those federal monies on some other project and use funds that would allow us to have
Absolutely.
this.
I mean, we all been in this position before. We know how to move monies and things like that. I mean, we've been elected officials before, and we know how it works. And you're right, if we had known, we would have at least tried to find a different mechanism to do it. That is we're charged with that, this committee, and I feel that the weight of this committee has something to do to be able to do this project come to fruition. Just the fact that we were mentioning veterans and homeless veterans, it had to carry some weight. If this committee's word advice doesn't carry any weight, then why are we meeting? Why do we have this committee? I think that this committee is the one committee that probably has never missed a meeting of all the committees that the city has. I could be wrong, but we all here all the time trying to do our jobs, trying to do the job that we volunteered to do. And that goes with the presentation we just had. This committee voted against that site, not the project, but the site. Yet they spent $5 million that could have been used for a one-stop shop somewhere else. With exactly the same project, but different location, he was giving more services to our warriors. It wasn't done, and that's what they wanted to do. But that's what this committee advised, not to do it at that particular site, because he could not service the veterans the way it should. And we could have had a one-stop shop that we've been talking about since day one for $5 million, instead of having a 4,000 square foot building that is not gonna be able to service all the needs of our warriors.
Mr.
But it is what it is, you know, but we appreciate you bringing up this up, because I am extremely disappointed for that, because that's not what we brought up, and we should have at least, at the very least, be advised that it was not gonna happen.
Well, I think that's what we're talking about today, and I know management is here, we have our city managers here. I think we're all committed to, and we do appreciate your voices and your service to our country and to our community, and everything that you all do, and we want to make it right. I wanna make it right.
I think all of us do, and thank you for your words and your information, because it's really disappointing. Mr. Garza?
I just want to say that I think we can learn from our mistakes. All of us can learn from our prior mistakes, and there's some stuff that's already done, and you can't do anything about it. That's fine and dandy. We do have a phase 2, so let's look into the future, in my opinion, and let's grow and take the advice of our councilwoman or women, and maybe ask the general fund, the city, to at least on phase 2, I don't know how many houses or buildings can go in there, but maybe out of those phase 2, if there's 5 buildings, maybe we can dedicate 2 or 3 of them, or all 5. And then the other thing on phase 2 though, so that's a different funding, right? If I understood correctly, and then plus, I mean, we have a perfect example of the city and the county working together on this last project that was just brought to us. Maybe we can work together and not just put everything on the county. Obviously, we have to take it to Commissioner's Court and see if they would want to work together with the city, and maybe the city doesn't pull all its resources, all its monies from its general funds to fund this project. I mean, the county should be able to help us with that too. However, you would have to speak to the court on that. If we can make a motion,
Well, it's
On
not,
something
it's
like
not
that,
an
it
item,
would
we
be-
can put the item on the next meeting, because it's, to make a motion, we need to have to be an action item. But,
not actions, if,
I,
go ahead, sorry.
if I may?
Sure.
I think that I could safely say, and I don't wanna speak for council, right? I'm confident that the majority of the council does, and if not all unanimous, would support that, of course. We would definitely support that. I think that would be a good second option to say phase 2. I just have a problem with that the first project was promised a certain way, and now we're saying wait to phase 2 to get what we really promised, right? So I think I would feel more comfortable if we could find a way to make what's there actually what was intended, where we could actually reserve, maybe there was 2 grants, taking one of them, pushing that one to another project, and then using general fund monies and that way we can say these 4 that are already built
Right.
are, with the community center.
So you feel that there's a mechanism in place that could happen on the existing?
I'm
Right.
hoping, Mr. Nab, would you have anything to comment on that?
That's what I understood, that,
I'm hoping if we could get to that point, and then maybe on phase 2 build an additional amount, or maybe build those other units.
we
somehow.
also understand, and just give me a minute, please, sir. The mindset of the homeless veteran.
Right.
I've known some relatives that have been homeless veterans. Some of them don't want the help
Right.
because the environment is not right. They don't want to go back to their families, or for whatever case. So we are dealing with a very special case here with the homeless veterans. And by being able to provide the right atmosphere, the right condition, we're hoping to be able to bring some of these homeless veterans into these places, and maybe they can become viable citizens of the community.
Right.
And because they are special people because of the work they did, and they are homeless because of the trauma that they had in combat, mainly, and so we need to give them the help that they need, at least have it available. We can't take a horse to water, but we can take the water, we can make them drink water, and that's basically the case with a lot of these homeless veterans, because the environment that they live, the conditions in their mind, and we don't know how combat works on different people. But even in the combat area, you don't even have to be in combat, but in the combat area. So we are dealing with special people, and we took that place that we're gonna try to help them, and we should keep that. Yes, sir, go ahead, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Commission. Joe Nebb, City Manager for the City of Laredo. I just want to reiterate what both of our council members are saying to you, and we've got your back. We're going to take care of this. We're going to take care of it. Yes, it has shifted a little bit, but the veterans stay very important in the forefront of our mind as well too, with how we're going to help that. We're going to be there to help any of the individuals that need that help as we walk through this thing. I am walking through the request from Councilmember Perez, Mayor Pro Tem, on whether or not we can move those monies, the grant monies, into another part of the project and try to utilize what's already been built, replacing it with general fund dollars. That'll allow us to move a little bit faster on that. The phase two, I appreciate the advice from the commission to the council to at least dedicate a part of the phase two to the veterans as well too. So we're going to walk through this in both different directions, and we're going to try to make sure that it is there. I think what the council member is stating is that the frustrations that happened at the city council meeting with getting caught after the project's built, saying, okay, now we can only do it this way. I would argue, or I would at least say, at least on record, we will talk with those homeless vets as soon as we open up that, so that we can, even though we can't give them preferential treatment, we can maybe make them first in line for that opportunity. I think we can do that very, very easily, informally within our structure, but we'll walk through that. This is a very good project, and helping any of our community that are suffering in that way is going to be that way. But we do want to keep the veterans on that preferential side of that thing. And so, yeah, I love both of the projects that we just talked about tonight, or for today. And so I just want to make sure that you're aware that we are walking through every leg of this thing. We're going to move what we can, try to make it happen faster. Worst case is we do it for phase two, which means that we're just within one cycle. If we're lucky enough to have some leftover funds as we move in there, we'll try to make it move faster, because we are set up in phase two for this project right now. We have infrastructure in the ground. We are ready to put some buildings into that phase once we get moving. So there's nothing that says that we can't build a couple earlier than the rest of them. So I think we can get there sooner than later. What I would ask is that I love the advice from our committees to the council as well too. I think that does a lot for us. And so if you could put it on for an item in the future to at least give that advice to the city council, they'd appreciate it a lot. I know I do. So thank you.
Thank you for your words, sir. And we understand the housing project system that is needed in every community. I am one of the products of the housing projects of the city of Laredo. I came out of the housing projects. I was born in the Colonia Guadalupe, and I lived in Russell Terrace. I was very involved when they wanted to tear down Russell Terrace, along with my son, who was the city council at the time. That project never should have happened, and it didn't happen. But at one time, they wanted to go ahead and just destroy it all. Housing projects are a very essential part of every community, because people like me come out of those projects.
Yes, sir.
And many people. So, but in this particular area, we were trying to help not only a member of the community, but also a member that only 10% or less than 10% serve in the armed forces.
Yes, sir.
And they're very special people. Because we are who we are. We enjoy the freedoms that we have because of the warriors of this country.
Yes, sir.
And we need to take care of them. Thank you for your words, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
And I am, just like with the council, I'm just a phone call or an email away. Please let us know. Don't wait for your next meeting or any of that nature. Just reach out to us. We'll try to help. Yes,
I
sir.
just want to say that in my office, I have a person dedicated to just homeless veterans. I mean, among other duties, but one of my employees' duties is to attend the veterans meeting. So if you ever need, or your staff needs help or numbers or any statistical stuff, we can probably get it. Which they actually meet with part of the city. Homeless, yeah. So be more than glad to help you, assist you guys, or if y'all want to meet, so make a small committee to make sure this doesn't happen again. You can count me in and my staff members if y'all need assistance with that.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If I can just.
Sure, go ahead.
I just thought, I think I'm glad that we're having this conversation as uncomfortable as it might be, right? But I'm glad that we're coming around full circle on this project and acknowledging that even though the project is completed, it's not really completed from our end, and it's still to be continued, and so we do need more updates on how we're going to actually bring that project completed. But just understand that we are all committed to it, and we're happy to bring it on the council agenda as well. I think the direction from the committee is what you all have been saying, is at least a couple of units designated priority, which is what was discussed this whole time. We started off wanting the entire community, only homeless veterans, and then we kind of diluted it down, but we didn't want to dilute it so much down that now, like, you know, it's half this project, half this project, and then from this project you could homeless veterans qualify, and so it's kind of really diluted now, right? So we want to kind of bring that back, but I do appreciate the conversation, the opportunity to have this conversation, because this is where it all started, actually.
Without a doubt, I think it's fair to say that this project that is about to be completed, that this committee had a lot to do with this project being completed, because we've worked on it. This project has been talking about for years also, like the museum. But I believe that the work of this committee is what caused this project to come together.
Yes, sir.
Unfortunately, the outcome was not what we wanted, but there's still ways, like Mr. Garza and Council Member Perez is saying, and everybody else, that maybe something good can come out of this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
I feel that we could make more progress if we could be kept in the loop,
Yes, sir.
because the feelings that the veterans have are not even being adhered to. We're being ignored.
Well, unfortunately, you're right, yes. We had two items on the agenda today that went against the wishes of this committee. While both projects that needed to be completed, they did not follow the wish of this committee, which consists of about 15 different veteran service organizations.
Yes, sir.
And so that's a very bad taste in our mouth when this committee advises and recommends certain things to be done. It's done completely the opposite, and we don't even have the courtesy of being advised that they're not going to follow our wishes. And there's two projects here. The first two projects that we discussed went against the wishes of this committee,
Certainly.
basically.
Well, I just want to add, if I may, I remember bringing up the idea of having like a town hall to discuss that location, and you all did not like that I did that. And, you know,
I think it was tabled, wasn't it?
Yes.
you guys shut me down pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I got the point, and I understood very clearly that you all were not in favor of that location, and then, you know, here we are, and I understand, but that.
But again, sir, that was the county that really took charge of that,
I understand that.
not the city.
And I was gonna make that comment, and I apologize for making. The city showed their colors, you know, and we talked about how to move money back and forth. And the city really just said to the county, you do it. Basically, that's what I understood that happened today. So you're right, Marshall.
But I think the point is well taken, that it's the communication back and forth. If if there's a decision that's going to go against the advice of the commission, then at least there should be a conversation back as well too as to why that decision goes that way. I take the criticism very well for that, because I think that's where it has to come back and forth. You know, a lot of decisions get made a lot of different ways. You've talked about that a lot today as well too. And so I want to make sure that that communication is coming back and forth. I can't always, I won't be able to always share that a decision always goes the way we all think it will, but I can ensure that you get the information to understand why the decision was made a certain way. And I think that's something that comes with that communication, that respect that needs to be there.
If I may add to that?
Sure.
So the concern I had with going through the timeline was that the times that the project was communicated, it was told that preference would be given, right? And at the point that there was no longer gonna be preference, it was crickets, because preference will still be given, and then a month later, the ribbon cutting, and no mention of veterans at all in the ribbon cutting. And so then it was kind of still ambiguous, right? And so I actually proposed on the council meeting that we tabled it because we were running out of time, but a project management structure where we can follow a certain guideline when we have projects and when it involves committees for us to check off certain checkboxes. So we'll be having that conversation at council on the city's end to make sure that when it comes to a project, especially one that's driven by a committee, that we follow certain processes, right, to make sure. But, you know, this is still an open project, and it's still something that we can, like you said, we're bringing affordable housing units to the public, and veterans are still eligible, and we're gonna try to incorporate that preference somehow into it, and we're working on that. But, you know, we want you all to know that we do appreciate, of course, your service and the relationship that we have and your time for giving us that feedback. But I think these projects do highlight that the community is committed to veterans and trying to do something, even if it's not exactly ideally how we discuss, but we do want to make sure that instead of talking about the museum, you know, we're going to get one done. Maybe we can talk about, you know, have that conversation further on, but we've talked, and here you actually have some projects that are coming to light. So, you know, it's that double sword.
And that's exactly right. And when we recommend something, and then when the policies of the building quote is circumvented, and maybe that's not the right choice of word, but when we start using off-street parking to be able to get a building permit, to me, that's a very item that is on the agenda, that when I go and ask for a building permit and I can't meet the parking as a private citizen, the parking regulations to get a building permit, and then I can use the off-street parking to meet that, you open a Pandora's box where everybody's gonna wanna do that. So what are you gonna do? Are you gonna give them that, approve that building permit or not? Because you open a precedent right now that you did it with this particular building. A building, a location that this committee voted several times that we were not agreeing with that location. Not the project, the location. And yet they circumvented the building permit process in order to achieve this project. And to me, that is not right. Because you're not gonna do that to public, private citizens that are trying to build a building and allow them to use off-street parking to be able to get that permit. Am I correct or not? What's gonna happen if I go out there tomorrow? Are you gonna allow me to do that? I'm gonna bring up the subject of the fact that you allowed it with this building over here. And that's a problem, in my opinion anyway. And I'm not speaking for the community at this time, but I'm speaking as a member of the business community of the city, somebody that has committed a lot to the city, and I think that's a bad precedent.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Mr. Knapp.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
There was another component, Mr. Chairman, on the Halloween safety and Toys for Tots on that same item.
Same item.
Oh, yeah, yes.
We emphasize safety, safety, safety. Halloween just passed. That was one of the issues of watching out for the children, always watching out for the children that already passed. But still, we have to look out for the children. Halloween already went by, but now we have Toys for Tots. The Toys for Tots campaign is in full swing right now, and we cannot forget the children again. There is no substitute for the happiness we bring the children, especially those that don't have any, those that don't even know they don't have any. I remember growing up, I didn't know I was poor. I thought I was rich. I lived in a neighborhood where the kids would share leftover toys. I had a neighbor that had, his father found a frame, put rims on it, didn't have any pedals. But we pushed each other on the bicycle. We thought we were rich. We had a bicycle in the neighborhood. Anyway, Toys for Tots is in full swing, and the children cannot have those that don't have any resources, cannot have a Merry Christmas unless we help them. We're asking the community to join in, help put a smile on the children, and be a Santa Claus for the children.
Well, talking about that, Mr. Alvarez, I've always said since back in the early 80s that this nation's most valuable natural resource is our children, because they are the future. So you are correct in that. Any other questions or comments on this item? Thank you very much.
I have a comment,
Go ahead.
but I don't know if I should wait till the later.
Okay. Whatever you want to do. You want to wait till the end?
Sure.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is by Veterans Affairs Clinic representative to discuss Veterans Affairs information, but she's not here, right?
So, no, she gave me the information for me
Okay,
to
go
share
ahead.
the information. Ms. Cabildo, reported a few items that she wanted, she wasn't able to show up, but she wanted me to spread the word. The first two items are already on your calendar, Mr. Garza. It's gonna be the Veterans Day event on November 7th from 12 to 2. A food drive, November the 13th from 9 to 12, which Mr. Garza already has it on the calendar. And another important item is that whenever you have your appointment at the clinic, that you have to have a picture ID. So they're gonna ask for a picture ID, make sure you take it when you go to your appointment. Another thing is, My Healthy Vet representatives for the, it's an application that a lot of us use. If you're not very familiar with that app, there's some representatives at the VA clinic all this week from 8 to 4:30. So if you need help with the app, go out there and they're gonna help you out with the app. And that was it for Ms. Cabildo.
There is something that I was gonna ask Ms. Cavillo, or maybe some of us can, or maybe somebody knows. I read an article a few days ago where a cholesterol medication had a recall. I don't remember the name of it, Astranovan or something like that maybe, but my Uber driver can remember the name. Astranovan. It's a medication for cholesterol. And I read an article that some of those medications had been recalled. I was just gonna wonder whether she knew anything about it, but, anybody knows anything about that?
I don't.
It's something to, maybe we can keep her in
That's
mind.
Could
And
ask-
any other questions, items on?
Can we ask Crystal if she can,
Give us an update?
We can call her. Or
Okay.
for
ask
the
her.
next meeting?
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? By Disabled American Veteran Representative to announce the Veterans Day event.
Okay, Mr. Segovia wasn't able to show up either. He sent me 2 flyers that Mr. Garza you already have there. The red, white, and blue mass and the Veterans Day Parade. And Mr. Garza, you're gonna announce your
Yeah,
calendar in a bit, right?
yeah, when we get to it, yes, sir.
They're both on the calendar,
Okay.
so that's it.
Any questions or comments on this item? Thank you. By Black Widow Representative to announce upcoming events.
Hi, Nora Villarreal, Black Widow Vice President.
And Cynthia Garcia, Sergeant at Arms.
So the only thing that we have for this month is we have our pop-up, which is November the 15th at Playmore. We're asking the community to please join us. This is our first ever pop-up, and it's just to raise funds since we are a nonprofit, so we can continue to help others, nonprofits that ask for our help. So it's November 15th.
What time?
It's from 12 o'clock to 4 p.m.
November 15th.
Yes.
Would you want me to put it on the list
Yes,
of events coming up?
I think that Rocio was going to send you our flyer and the information. If not, I'll go ahead and remind her so she can send it to you.
Yeah, I don't think we got it because I have the latest one and I don't remember seeing that in there. But if you can, I mean, I can get with you after hours and we can.
Okay, because I
Just so we
have
can
a
send it.
flyer that I can leave with
Okay.
you as well. Okay.
Excellent, thank you.
So it's going to be at Playmore, and it's inside. Most people sometimes are hesitant to go because some of these pop-ups are outside, and sometimes the weather is a little bit crazy. We still have a few spots, so if you guys know any vendors that would like to participate, it's $35 for table, and we have
have-
like 7 spots left. Okay, so if you guys know.
Yes, our goal is 30. Of course, we can have more, but right now we have 23 vendors as of now. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any comments, questions?
No, sir.
By a Catholic War veteran representative to announce the Veterans Day event. That's I'm sure that was Wedo's,
That was
oh,
Wedo,
yes,
yeah,
but you
parade
have
for
it in
the
the event
already on
calendar
there.
already, right?
Yes.
Do we
Yes.
have,
Yes.
do we have someone to talk on this?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yes,
I don't
she's
see it
here.
on the agenda.
Reach Across America.
Miss
Can we
Mead.
call up Miss Lizette? I mean, Miss Meat,
Annette.
Annette?
Lynette, would
You
you
want to
step
come
up,
up
please,
and give us some info?
for the record?
Well, hello, as you all know, I am Lynette Mead. I am the Laredo chapter coordinator for Reeves Across America. And my event is coming up also in December 13th. And it's going to be held at the City Cemetery and Catholic Cemetery. We will have a convoy that leaves from Harley Davidson. We all meet around 7 a.m. The convoy filled with police and everybody else that can possibly squeeze in there will come straight up McPherson. We call it the honor ride because it's going to carry the Reeves to the cemetery. I got to meet with Ruben for that meeting. But Meta will be closed. The school buses will park there. The truck will get unloaded there by the ROTCs and the Boy Scouts and all the children that come. And then the ceremony, if I can get it off earlier, I will, because I know the parade is the same day. I had the same conflict I had last year, except I'm not running over to the parade. So, but that's pretty much it. I mean, this year, the funds have been a little low for me because I haven't been out in the public because of my arm and stuff. So, how many Reeves we can lay is what we're going to be able to lay. But I wanted to make a point because with the museum and everything that's happening, Reeves Across America kind of falls into that too, because I've had the privilege of listening to loved one stories about the ones that have passed. We have a Medal of Honor recipient in the Catholic. We also have, I had the Boy Scout from Troop 209 go out there and do a collaboration with the Reeves, and he walked the cemetery in the Catholic. Only, it's 7 miles, so he only did a certain amount. But he marked every veterans that is there for his Eagle Scout project, and he put what branch they were in, when they were born, whatever he could Google as far as information as well. And I think that's really neat for Laredo, because if, say, the Boy Scouts continue that, we get more Eagle Scouts out there, maybe I'll actually be able to know how many people are actually in the Catholic, since I still, 4 years later, don't have an accurate number of veterans that are buried in the Catholic because of course, the private plots and so forth. So that, I think, is a really neat thing that the Reeves, because of the Reeves being here, is another way that we can remember, honor, and of course, teach our youth the value of freedom. And I guess that's probably it. I don't.
Can I make a comment?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you for that, Lynette, and for all the hard work that you do. And I still remember the first time you came in and spoke to us. So it was.
I was so nervous I could barely talk.
No, you've come a long way, and you've done a lot of great things. If there's any way that maybe we can meet up with that Boy Scout.
Oh, I would love it. I
That
tried to get a hold of the Laredo Morning Times guy to do an article on him, but he never got back to me.
Well, I think we could work somehow that historical data that they have, that he has accumulated and kind of added somehow to the database of information.
Yeah, and he's plotted it to where like someone could come next year, or if they do it every 6 months, or I don't know how that works with the Boy Scouts, but they can just take from what he started
Right.
and continue.
But maybe it could be something that people could actually press a button and hear the story, or like a map that we could display there that people could actually use it as something, you know, when you go look, you know, the wall and you find the name and it's kind of, you know, I don't know.
Well, and he was excited. Like when I met him, and he was telling me, and there's one soldier in particular that caught his eye, and he's the one that was in I think the Bangalore Rebellion and all the other stuff that he was in. But in his speaking to me, he was excited. He was excited to know that someone in the past in Laredo was involved in all that. And, you know, he was born here, and it was neat for him to know, and I'd love to see that continue.
Well, let's meet up with him and kind of see what we can do to make his information a little more public.
Yeah, maybe a little city coin or something for doing it, because it would, I mean, I gave him my Reeves one, but, you know.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I think that would
For
be
sure.
neat.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a Medal of Honor, the one you were talking about, at the Catholic Cemetery. I met with his grandson. He's with the Sheriff Department.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it'd be a good idea to contact him as a
Well,
wall.
Now, we have gotten a hold of them, and, you know, his granddaughter Rosie, she's been at all the ceremonies, but she never wanted to speak. She said that she was thankful, you know, that, like, his memory was brought back up, but she didn't want to, like, put it out there, so I had to respect that with her.
Yeah.
And they want to go, you know, but they didn't want to, maybe there's some things they didn't want to revive, I don't know.
Right.
And you're gonna
Yeah,
find
and
that.
we gotta
very
respect
often.
that. We gotta respect
Yes.
the family's wishes.
But I've been blessed. I mean, I get to hear all of these wonderful stories. I mean, when they were talking about the history of Laredo, I was thinking, I've heard a lot of stories, you know?
We have a
Because,
historian,
Huh?
Alfred.
Well, it's a very unique way that I'm hearing about them, because I'm hearing about the love of this person or what they did or their hero, and it's pretty cool.
Thank you.
His last
Thank
name,
you.
Alfred.
We can promote this on the city page. We still have that, right?
Como Jimenez just, I gave him some.
But I would need them digital because
Do you have a digital copy of this, Lynette?
I'm not sure.
I can get it to him, cause I have to put it on mine, so we digitally scan them in. So you need the digital copy,
yes.
Fire Marshal? Okay, so I can send it to him.
Okay.
Are you on the list, on the mailing list? Did you get the stuff like last week? There's an updated, I guess now you're looking at me
No,
crazy.
no. No, but
Okay.
I did want to, before I step back, is, you know, I am going to, the chapter, I'm going to hand over the torch. So I'm going to have someone else in Laredo take it over.
Do you know who it is now?
Yeah, Erica Cavazos from Joe Jackson. Well, a lot of veterans go through her. She knows a lot of the families. She speaks Spanish. And, you know, just my only point of starting this whole thing was for it to continue for generations to come.
Are you leaving Laredo?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just, are you kidding, with my arm and stuff, I can't carry tables. I can't go to all these. I want to show up at the functions, but I don't want to actually physically do the functions. Do you understand?
Appreciate that, yes.
So.
We'll still be seeing you.
Obviously, this committee showed the appreciation that we have for you, and thank you for what you have brought to this community and to the veterans and warriors.
Well, I think it's a
community,
beautiful thing, especially for
I
our
think we
kids.
showed that support and love last meeting.
Yeah. Well, I will
think you
definitely
know what
be
I'm
there.
talking about.
Just just lay in the wreath this time,
Right.
you know?
Yes, ma'am.
But since this is my last year, y'all gotta come out though.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you so
Yes.
much. Appreciate it.
Oh, and speaking of the fire department, do you think that I can get the drummers?
The flag, the what?
No, the pipes.
Yes, I sent an email and I believe it's approved. I'll check on it, okay?
I would love that, cause I really wanna finish this year with them. I mean, Bob's been wanting to hear them play, well, I think you guys started this 2 years ago.
They've been practicing a long time and they're there. We already used them at a funeral recently.
They
Well,
can-
this is
they
the
can at least
perfect
make some noise
venue.
now, right?
No, they sound good.
Mr.
You know-
Mr. Chairman, can I make a comment?
Is that easy?
Mr. Chavez, can we commit that, can we help commit them to this date, if possible? Or does that have to come through city manager or council to get them to commit?
Fire Marshal.
Yeah, we can definitely look at that request. I'll work with the fire marshal.
Okay.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mr. Chavez.
Well, that would be so awesome. That would definitely make Bob's dream come true.
Thank you.
So,
Any other questions or comments?
Does that mean we're gonna get the fire truck with the American flag and the stuff hanging?
They'll be there. The flag's
Yeah.
gonna be there.
yeah, well, McPherson, that's why you should be in the convoy coming down.
Well,
We'll have to do
Gunny
that.
Ortiz refused to give me a ride without a helmet. That's like,
Border Patrol might have enough room for you.
Any,
We'll get you accommodated.
thank you, Lynn.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Next item on the agenda, we have an action item, a discussion with possible action regarding canceling the December meeting and matters incident thereto. Traditionally, we have, this committee has canceled the December meeting for obvious reasons, and we're asking the committee if they want to do the same thing this year. So I'll entertain a motion to cancel the meeting for December for the Veterans Affairs.
I'll make that
Advisory.
motion.
a second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. Motion passes unanimously. That's the last item on our agenda, but like normally what I do is I make time at the end of the meeting for anybody that would like to say anything, any words, anything at all that will improve the quality of life for our warriors.
All right.
This is the time to do it.
Alright, so we prepared a list, there's a few copies up there in the front, and we need to update it, cause I got the new event from the Black Widows, the Reefs Across America, and I think that was it on the new ones that we need to add. I believe also that the DAV, the number 4, Disabled American Veterans, they wanted to, I think they're doing, I gotta double check, but it should be at the Golden Corral on November 15th, 6 p.m. or something like that. So we gotta add that on there. If anybody, so I have Ms. Martinez in my office, preparing these and then sending it out almost as we're getting them. So at the very least, we try to send it out every Thursday or Friday. We're gonna send out one tomorrow, once we add these new ones. If anybody has an event that they wanna put on here, just let me know and we'll send it off. If anybody wants to be added on the email list, just also let me know, take down your email and we'll send it off. We'll add you to that email list. So Ms. Martinez can send you all the information of the different events. And because as you can see, we try to get it out like 2 weeks ago. We got it out once or twice and we still have events on the same day. Almost at the same time. Some of them were able to work together and then start at different times on the same day, but at the end of the day, it's so most veterans can make those events. On that same email or mail out list, the flyers are on there too. They'll be mailed out on the same email. And then lastly, there's another list for local discounts on Veterans Day, for locally. And if anybody knows of any other ones that we're missing, let us know and we'll add it on there on the same communication. You can just let me know now and I'll give it to Ms. Martinez to add them. And on my end, that's it, unless anybody has any questions on this.
Any
Yeah.
questions or comments on Mr. Garza's presentation? Suarez, you had something?
No, I just didn't get one of those.
No, I mean, you had something to say?
Yes. I wanted to announce, reiterate that United South High School is inviting all veterans to their Veterans Day on November the 10th. In the morning, all veterans are gonna have a breakfast. And then I believe it's after lunchtime or 11 o'clock, they're going to move to the gymnasium to have the Marine Corps cake cutting ceremony. You have that?
Yes, sir, it's already on there. It's at 9 AM at United South.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And-
Not that one. They called us right away.
And in the evening, the Marine Corps will celebrate the 250th birthday. You have that?
That, I don't have it, cause
Surprise.
Mr.
It's going to be at the corner of Bartlett and Jacoban. If you have ever seen a cake cutting ceremony, you've got two chances. It is traditional to cut the cake with the officer's sword, and we will explain why it's called Marmaduke and how it was how the officers originally got the first sword, where, and we'll explain a lot of things that you'll be interested in.
What the
Yeah,
corner
I've
and
been there.
Jackman.
Jacoban, and it,
Check them
let's see,
That's it.
Bartlett and Jacoban.
What?
You know where the Guerra Communications place is?
Oh.
Next to
Oh,
it.
no, that's.
Is it gonna be in the, there's like a ballroom there? Or
Across
something?
from the rock. Pigeons across from rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Okay, all right.
but where, in the park?
Yeah, I know where it's at.
Parking lot.
In the parking lot? Is that where they're gonna have it?
No, there's a parking lot and there,
Yeah, it's where the Guerra Communications
Yes,
is at,
it's-
there's a restaurant in the corner. So I know the place you're talking about, I'm just trying to figure out where.
Which
Which
establishment?
establishment is in it? That's what I'm trying to figure out, so I can add it unless,
Hey,
cause I don't have that one.
we got a colonel that's coming up to take care of this problem.
Yeah, send me the file.
There you go.
all uniformed personnel.
Honorable members of the committee, Tomas Rodriguez for the record, the place is called Levy's. That's the only thing I call it, it's Levit, something like that.
I actually ate there on Sunday, it was good.
Okay, that's where it is, at Bartlett and Jackman.
Well, now you know.
and that-
Now I
It's
know.
not gonna be in the parking lot, of course, if we don't fit inside, then we'll invade the parking lot.
There
too.
you go, all right.
Thank you.
We'll make sure things get done. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Colonel.
Thank you, Carlos.
Anybody else that has anything for the benefit and improvement of the quality of life for our veterans? With that said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
It is, 1:10 on the 4th of November, 2025. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much for your input. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good meeting. And thank you for everybody's information.
Mr. Chapman. Mr.
Thank you, Randy.